So, welcome ladies and gentlemen to what is round number 4 of the AM Sprint Series. So, TSR Jimmy is on the front row and he is followed by S1 Ghost Ops, Sean, all the way from Australia. Those guys occupy the front row, so a 2:01.2 was the qualifying time to put Jimmy on pole, which is a fantastic pole time indeed. So Fizzy Snuggles on the second row with Mad Max Taylor. So Jimmy, Fizzy and Mad Max are the three championship protagonists in this one. They are the top three in the championships. Heading into round 4 here at Suzuka, Madeira is there in 5th place, followed by Phillips and Salmacic. I was speaking to Salmacic earlier on in the week and he's really put in the practice and effort to have a good showing here at round number 4. Ace Tuned is there in 8th, followed by Shark Zulu. RDN Yoko-chan rounds out the top 10. Gufo Bubo qualified in 11th ahead of Kebab Fingers. Squad City is there in 13th, followed by Defoe in 14th. Jay Watso lines up 15th ahead of Storm Loaded with Dark Ludan, CTM Alex, and the 19th place man in the BMW machine is Schmate. So they are your 19 runners and riders today, ladies and gentlemen. It is round 4 here at Suzuka, as these guys are just weaving and trying to get heat into those tyres. It's a fantastic shot coming down the back straight, coming through 130R, and you can see all the runners and riders lining themselves up to start this race. As I will switch over to my commentary now, so this part you're hearing is a pre-recording and you will understand why. So thank you for tuning in. I hope you enjoy the race. So TSR Jimmy is leading them round on what is the formation lap, as I've just wasted the whole formation lap with my mic on mute, so none of you have caught that low down and run down before these guys start. So I will catch back up with what I said earlier on. TSR Jimmy took pole with a 2:01.2, which is extremely fast for the AM class category. S1 Ghost Ops, Sean there in 2nd place on the grid for today's race, all the way from Australia. He's had bad luck in this AM Sprint Series so far, but he's put it on the front row for Suzuka today in round 4. Fizzy Snuggles is there in 3rd, followed by Mad Max Taylor. They're the championship protagonists. They're leading the way, as is Contact. Everyone's still motors on though, so there's no problems for those drivers, which is good to see then. But TSR Jimmy's got the whole shot, and look at the gap he's already pulling away there. S1 Ghost Ops has just had it coming together with Fizzy Snuggles, so hopefully he's still circulating. I can't quite see him in the picture as we have a spinner. Who is that is spun around? Let's have a look. So unfortunate scenes for S1 Ghost Op once again. He's had it coming together in the first turn and that pulse machine is well and truly battered. He is not going to be a happy man after putting it on the front row of the grid for this race, as there's a McLaren at the rear of the field also. So that is Squat City having problems, as does Ace Tuned drop to the rear of the field, so he qualified mid-pack. So all change for this AM Series round 4 here at Suzuka, and S1 Ghost Ops is not going to be a happy man, now circulating in 17th after putting it into 2nd place on the grid for round 4, but no problems aboard. TSR Jimmy leads the way on this opening lap. He's got a second gap to Fizzy Snuggles, who drops it. Fizzy Snuggles drops it. Let's ride on board. Hopefully he doesn't get collected. Hopefully he does not get collected. Fizzy Snuggles is facing the wrong way in that Audi machine. My personal experience with the Audi is that it just does not like 130R whatsoever. It really gets unsettled and unstable around that corner, especially if you run over the curb. So Fizzy Snuggles dropping back then, a championship protagonist falling behind as that promotes Salmacic up into second place, followed by Philip 787. So these two are having a fantastic run and have been a beneficiary of opening lap shenanigans, shall we say. But Salmacic pops up into second place. He's some 5 seconds adrift of TSR Jimmy out in the lead. I was talking to Salmacic earlier on this week, and he has put in the work and put in the effort for this round number 4. He's been practicing during the 3-week close down we had over Christmas and the New Year, and it is showing here, ladies and gentlemen. He's running in second place, a strong second place, but he has Philip 787 right on his tail, hot on his heels in that Aston Martin. Less than half a second between those two guys running in second and third, as we have someone else off then, the Lamborghini of Madeira. Everybody's going off today, ladies and gentlemen, at Suzuka. What is going on? So that promotes Kebab Fingers up into 4th place then. He is the beneficiary of Madeira getting it all wrong through the Dengers. So it's all chopping and changing. Fizzy Snuggles is doing battle with Storm Loaded as they all pile through. But we ride on board with Fizzy Snuggles, and he's looking for a way past. Who is he looking to get through? He's looking up the inside, Fizzy Snuggles, what's happened? He's on the grass. He has lost that Audi machine once again then, so it's all wrong for Fizzy Snuggles this afternoon. He is not going to be a happy man whatsoever. Fizzy Snuggles having a tough time of it, as we just see Sean and Squat City go past then. So Fizzy Snuggles dropping right to the rear of the field. Wow, 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 what an opening 2 laps we've had, ladies and gentlemen. TSR Jimmy, no problems whatsoever. He is leading the way, and he's got 5 seconds over Salmacic running in second place. He's still got that pressure from Phillips, but those two are now clear of Kebab Fingers. He's having a strong show, and they're in 4th place currently, followed by Defoe in the Bentley machine. So Defoe is having a strong showing in the AM series this season. He's currently running in 5th, but up the inside comes Madeira. He's regained some composure, and he's looking to make his way back up through the field, and he disposes of Defoe with reasonable in reasonable fashion, straight up the inside of turn 1. Storm Loaded is there in 7th, and there's, look at this train of cars followed Storm Loaded. Here they go through the S's then. Such a fantastic circuit is Suzuka. We ride on board with Storm Loaded. He's got that train of cars behind him. Mad Max Taylor is the first one, followed by Shaka Zulu, RDN Yokachan, Gufo Bubo, Jay Watso. The BMW of SCH Mate is there in 13th place, and that is where the train stops with Dark Blue Dan. So just a bit further behind is Sean in 15th place now. He's gained 4 positions and he's having a bit of a recovery drive. He's going to be helped by the fact that Storm Loaded has got this train of cars, and he's obviously just a little bit slower than the front 6, because he's dropped 4 seconds behind Defoe, who's having a strong showing in that Bentley machine, and Storm Loaded is backing up all these cars. 8th right down to 15th then. It's not over for Sean yet, down in 15th place. Hopefully he can have a strong recovery drive. I'm sure there's going to be visits to the steward's room after that opening lap. As I see, Ace Tuned has already come in and made his one and only mandatory stop, so these guys need to put on just a fresh set of boots in this 55-minute sprint race. 7 minutes have been completed so far, and Ace Tuned has got 48 more minutes to move his way back up through the field, as TSR Jimmy does move on to lap number 4 then. He leads the way by 5.6 seconds, no problems aboard TSR Jimmy so far. He's had some fantastic battles in this series to date. He's been having some fantastic battles with Fizzy Snuggles and Mad Max Taylor, but those guys are not having a great showing this time out. They're down in 15th and 16th. I can see that Mad Max has come into the pits to make his one and only mandatory stop, but those two are his main championship rivals. They're in 1st, 2nd and 3rd currently in the championship standings, and they're right down the bottom of the field. So This is an opportunity for TSR Jimmy to really pull out a gap in the championship standings. Salmacic is holding on to second place. This is going to really boost his championship at round number 4 here at Suzuka. Philip 787 is running second, but he running in third. Sorry, but he has just dropped 1.3 seconds adrift of Salmacic now, so he's finding a rhythm in that Ferrari machine. Kebab Fingers is 4 seconds adrift of Phillips, and he's got Madeira. What's happened to Madeira? Actually, Madeira is the number 63 machine. Where has he gone? He's dropped down the order, unless my timing deltas are wrong. I can't see him there running in 5th place currently. But Kebab Fingers is 4th, and I believe it must be Defoe who has moved up into 6th. No, that's just my eyesight, ladies and gentlemen. There we go. Madeira is still running in 5th place then. Defoe's just behind in the Bentley machine. Shaka Zulu there in 7th. As these guys are now slowly starting to get a bit spread out. The top 6, that's Shaka Zulu has actually found his way past Stormloader then. I missed that one, so Stormloader has been picked off by Shaka Zulu, as the rest of the field are now somewhat spreading themselves out. Yoko-chan is the next one up to challenge Stormloader for 8th place. Jay Watso is currently holding that 10th place position. And look at this trio of cars challenging for 11th. Dark Blue Dam, Fizzy Snuggles and Sean. S1 Go Stops. What's going to happen between these guys? Hopefully there's no contact this time around as Fizzy Snuggles drops back. He's the one who's lost out in this trio of cars as what's happened to Dark Blue Dan. Dark Blue Dan has lost it also. So look at this, ladies and gentlemen. Sean has moved back up into 11th place then on lap number 5, but hot on his heels is Fizzy Snuggles. He thinks better of it this time round, so a good recovery drive at the moment from Sean, who's back up into 11th place then. He's going to be hunting down Jay Watso. He's certainly got the pace to challenge for victories as Sean, but he's carrying a bit of damage. You can see on the driver's side door of that post machine, so that is certainly going to be hampering his aerodynamics at least. But he is still motoring on there in 11th place position. He is closely followed by Fizzy Snuggles. Those two are the two that had that come together on the opening lap in the opening turn, so I'm sure that incident is going to be investigated after this race. But we ride back on board with the leader, TSR Jimmy, the number 77 Lamborghini machine. No problems aboard Jimmy's Lamborghini. He motors on. He's now 6.5 seconds ahead of Salmacic, who has pulled a 2-second gap to Phillips then. So it's all chop and changing in this AM Series sprint race, because Salmacic and Phillips haven't really been featuring in the top 3 thus far in the opening 3 rounds. And oh, as I say that, commentator's curse, Salmacic loses it. Recover that Ferrari, sir. Salmacic, get back on the tarmac. You're running in a strong 2nd place position. You're still there. You're still there fighting for a top 5 position. Salmacic may just pull into the pits. He doesn't this time round though. He still motors on. So he comes across the line then. We'll wait for the timing screen to update. We'll see how much damage that's caused. He's dropped back to 4th place then. So all is not lost for Salmacic. He had that much of a gap to the guys behind him that he's managed to recover that Ferrari, and he's still running in a strong 4th place. So Kebab Fingers is now up into 3rd place then. So a very fantastic drive from Kebab Fingers in that Ferrari machine. These guys just need to keep it on the tarmac, and they'll find themselves close to the front of the field come the race end. So we've had 3 drives complete their one and only stop then. Mad Max Taylor, Ace Tuned and Gufo Bubo running at the rear of the field in 16th, 17th and 18th place. CTM Alex is running in 15th then. He's just a bit off the pace at the minute in 15th. He's just about 2 seconds adrift of Squat City as CTM Alex loses it at 130i. He's in the barriers. So CTM Alex is not having a good time in that Porsche machine. He's picked up that front end damage we can see on the front of that Porsche machine. So he may well come into the pits on lap number 6. Squat City still motors on then, as he's having problems in that McLaren. It must be said, he's not a happy man in that McLaren. Must be some setup issues of some sort, as Dark Blue Dan is running in 13th in the 188 machine. Storm Loaded is there in 12th then, so he has indeed drop back. He was running in a strong 8th place position as Fizzy Snuggles and Sean have managed to make their way past, and they're doing battle over 10th place currently. I'm sure those two guys won't want any more collisions or coming togethers. Jay Watson then is the beneficiary of all this, and he's now up into 9th place in the Ferrari. Quite a few Ferraris in the AM series as Sherwin looks to defend the inside line as Fizzy Snuggles moves right round the outside through 130. Yeah, that is a brave move, sir, but he gets the job done. Ardian Yokochan is running in a strong 8th place. Defoe is there in 7th as Shaka Zulu moves up into 6th place, and that is a beautiful livery from Shaka Zulu on that Mercedes-Benz machine. Obviously this month we should be seeing the Evo cars of the Ferrari and the Mercedes enter the console version of this game, so they are going to be 2 new additions for the drivers to choose from. Obviously they won't be able to choose that variety of vehicle in the Sprint Series as these cars are locked in from the very first round. But Madeira is now running in 5th place then. Salmacic just ahead in 4th after that early off. That promoted Kebab Fingers up into 3rd place then, and he is now slowly coming up to the back of Philip 787, so watch your rear view mirror, sir. You're going to have Kebab Fingers all over the back of you very, very soon. Down to about half a second is the gap between those two. And TSR Jimmy is just running away with this one. 10 seconds on lap number 7. So he's pulling out almost 1.3, 1.4 seconds a lap to the guys behind him. He got the whole shot into turn 1 on the first lap, and he has been unchallenged ever since then. So he's got a nice cushion and a nice lead. So as long as he doesn't put a foot wrong, this is going to be another win in the bag, and is really going to cement his championship lead in the AM series. The Scotsman leading the way. Philip 787 still holding off Kebab Fingers, and he's managed to pull out a little bit of a gap in that Aston Martin. And we do have a Bentley out of position then. So who is that? It is Gufo Bubo. He has completed his one and only stop. So it's around 30 odd, 35 seconds for a pit stop around here. Maybe 40 to 45, but it is a tyre stop, so it does take that a little bit longer. But only 4 drivers have completed their one and only mandatory stop. 40 minutes remaining on the clock for these guys. Squat City and Dark Blue Dan are doing battle then over 13th and 14th place. This is fantastic stuff. Now the race is starting to settle down. Storm Loaded is coming across the line to start lap number 8 then. He's running in 12th place now, as the order has just shuffled itself around. Sean is now just dropping back from Fizzy Snuggles in 10th place then. Credit where credit is due. He's battling on with that damage on that Porsche machine. Hopefully he can get back into the top 10 after having such a strong qualifying performance, putting it in 2nd place on the front row for Suzuka this afternoon. Fizzy Snuggles hasn't had the best of times around Suzuka either. He qualified in 3rd, and then he had that coming together with Sean, and then he lost it through 130R as well. So he's found himself right down the rear, fighting in the mid pack as he looks for a move up the inside of Jay Watt. So does he get the move? Then we'll ride back on board with these two guys, Jay Watson and Fizzy Snuggles. Fizzy Snuggles does get the move done then, so up into 9th place goes Fizzy Snuggles. He's having a recovery drive as well this afternoon. Ardian Yokochan is running in a strong 8th place now then, but he's going to watch his rear view mirrors because Fizzy Snuggles is coming. Defoe is some 4 seconds ahead of that battle going on though. He's having a bit of a lonely race as Defoe. He's got 4 seconds to the cars behind him, and he's got 1.1 seconds to Shaka Zulu ahead. As Shaka Zulu, Madeira and Salmacic are all battling here. As Salmacic gets it all wrong on the exit of the final turn then, so Shaka Zulu looking for an easy pass. Down the straight they go. He's looking for a nice move up the inside into turn 1, as he does get the move done. Fantastic stuff from Shaka Zulu then. One of the better cars around Suzuka is the Mercedes-Benz. and is coming into his own here then with 37 minutes remaining. The Mercedes-Benz of Shaka Zulu up into 5th place then, so some fantastic racing to witness for this AM series. Salmacic is running in 4th and Shaka Zulu isn't too far behind, but Salmacic is 5 seconds adrift of that podium position now then. He's going to be kicking himself. He did put a lot of practice in during the time away during the festive period, as is a beautiful shot of those cars sliding through the dangers as Shaka Zulu gets it a bit wrong then, so he's got to be careful because Madeira is going to be fighting back in that Lamborghini machine. But no problems on board the front three, Kebab Fingers, Philip and TSR Jimmy. So Philip having a very strong showing. Up into 2nd place he goes. A completely changed man then from what was a very terrible performance at Misano, it has to be said. He was totally out of sorts and he was out of character. It wasn't him. I think he had a couple of drive-throughs for some pit stop errors and he ended up getting disqualified actually, but completely changed his fortunes and he's running in a strong 2nd place here, so credit where credit is due. Philip, completely on merit, is up into 2nd place then. Fantastic drive from him today. Kebab Fingers also, as he's looking to close back up on Phillips. He's kept that gap with under a second, so he's hot on the heels of Phillips, and you'll know he is there as Salmacic then is coming under from increasing pressure from Shaka Zulu, as if Gufo Bubo isn't careful he's going to be getting in the way of this fantastic battle. Shaka Zulu at the inside then into 4th place. Fantastic racing, sir. Shaka Zulu up into 4th, ahead of Salmacic, ahead of Madeira. This trio of cars circulating very closely together. Gufo Bubo, sorry, is out of position there in 17th place, just ahead of these guys. I'm sure he's going to be getting the blue flags, so I hope we see some sportsmanship happening and he moves out the way once those guys behind him finish doing battle and close up that gap. But it is Shaka Zulu then who's moved up into 4th place then. This is going to help his championship out tremendously, as those who were in front of him in the championship are having a horrid race, it must be said. Mad Max Taylor down in 15th, Fizzy Snuggles in 8th, Defoe's there in 7th. So these guys are going to be wanting to be a bit further up the field by the time this race is over, because whilst TSR Jimmy has got a 10-second gap in the lead, he is also going to be extending his championship lead, and Fizzy Snuggles and Mad Max Taylor, who sit 2nd and 3rd in the championship, are right out of the picture at this current time. Defoe is currently 4th in the standings and he is there in 7th place. He's as we do just right on board, and Gufo does let Shaka Zulu through, so that's great sportsmanship shown from Gufo Bubo there. Obviously he will regain those positions as the drivers in front of him come in for their one and only stop, as Dark Blue Dan is the next in line to come into the pits. He's peeled into the pits and he's making his one and only stop. 34 minutes remaining on the clock for these guys this afternoon. TSR Jimmy, he's completed 10 laps then, so he's on lap number 11. As I'll just watch the timing deltas whilst we ride on board TSR Jimmy, see if there's any movement. Fizzy Snuggles peels into the pits then from P8, so that will free up Sean, Jay Watso, RDN Yoko-chan, Stormloaded and Squat City. So it will be interesting to see where Mad Max Taylor does come out then. I'll stay on board with Mad Max Taylor because Fizzy Snuggles and RDN are currently in the pits, and Mad Max Taylor is some way behind then. I don't think Mad Max Taylor is going to be able to close that deficit to Fizzy Snuggles. So Fizzy Snuggles and Yoko-chan both in the pits then on lap number 11. Mad Max Taylor just coming up to 130R then, so it's actually going to be closer than I thought, because there's only one more turn to negotiate for Mad Max Taylor, then he's going to be on the pit straight, and Fizzy Snuggle still hasn't moved from his pit box. As he does get moving, then it's a very short exit window for Suzuka, so Fizzy Snuggles will potentially keep hold of that position. As you can see that gap visibly, how that gap is between Mad Max Taylor and Fizzy Snuggles. Then those guys are championship protagonists in 2nd and 3rd, but they find themselves down in 12th and 13th. So TSR Jimmy still motors on, then he completes another lap. It goes to show how far in the lead he really is. He's on lap number 12 then, and he's got 12 seconds to Phillips behind, who's just kept the 1.5 second gap to Kebab Fingers, but Shaka Zulu is closing that gap then. As Madeira, Salmacic, and is that Dark Blue Dan who is just moving out the way for Salmacic? I believe it is. Salmacic, does he keep hold of that Ferrari? He does just about keep hold of that. He had a bit of a wobble then, Salmacic, but he kept hold of that Ferrari. That's good car control, sir. So he still motors on in 5th place, and he's going to be helped by Dark Blue Dan then, because he's sandwiched between Salmacic and Madeira. So Dark Blue Dan is going to be needing to move out of the way, and he's going to be needing to let Madeira through, as Dark Blue Dan just visits the gravel. As I'm sure that was a heart in mouth moment for Madeira there. But he gets through okay, so battle will resume between Salmacic and Madeira, as Gufo Bubo is still just ahead of those guys. But Shaka Zulu, Kebab Fingers and Phillips, you can see this gap closing between this trio of cars. Whilst Jimmy's pulling away, he's got a 13-second lead to Phillips, but Phillips, Kebab Fingers and Shaka Zulu, it looks like these three guys are going to do battle over those other 2 podium positions around Suzuka for round number 4 of the AM Sprint Series. 30 minutes remaining, so we are coming up to the halfway point for these runners and riders this afternoon. And it's going to be a very interesting battle between these guys. Are the moves going to be made during the pit stop window? Are they going to be made out on track? Only time will tell. We'll catch up with the rest of the field. Salmacic is still running there in 5th place, but he's got Madeira close behind. Defoe is running in 7th, and he's just a bit off the pace of those front 6, but he is currently running in 7th place, some 6 seconds further adrift. Sean is now up into 8th place then. He's having a strong recovery driving 8th place. I can't believe he's actually gone 25 minutes with all that damage. I'm sure he's going to be coming into the pits sometime soon, as we see Kebab Fingers and Shaka Zulu both peel into the pits then on lap number 13 for these guys. So it's going to be a very telling sign to see if that actually helps Phillips there in 2nd place, or if Philip is going to actually lose out to the guys who are just circulating just behind him then. I wonder if that fresh rubber is going to pay dividends to Shaka Zulu and Kebab Fingers. We'll wait and see how that one unfolds, as Fizzy Snuggles is still some way away from Shaka Zulu and Kebab Fingers then. So we saw how close Mad Max Taylor got to Fizzy Snuggles, and I thought he was never going to get that close. Fizzy Snuggles may just appear in front of Kebab Fingers and Shaka Zulu. As Kebab Fingers is the first one to complete his mandatory stop, so he will be peeling away out of his pit box now. Fizzy Snuggles is coming around the final turn. It's going to be nip and tuck between Kebab Fingers, Shaka Zulu and Fizzy Snuggles. Right on board Fizzy Snuggles. He is on the pit straight then, ladies and gentlemen. Kebab Fingers and Shaka Zulu just peel out of the pits. Fizzy Snuggles will see these guys just in front of him. He's going to have the momentum. He's going to be on that. He is going to be on warm rubber, but his tyres are heated up to the optimum temperature. So Shaka Zulu and Kebab Fingers, if they're not careful, they need to get those tyres in the perfect operating window very, very quickly. But they do appear just ahead of Fizzy Snuggles then. So Fizzy Snuggles is having a fantastic recovery drive, because Kebab Fingers and Shaka Zulu were running in 2nd and 3rd, or 3rd and 4th. And yeah, so Fizzy Snuggles, fair play to him. He's going to be moving back up into the top 5 by the looks of it. We'll see where Phillips does come out. He still motors on for another lap then, so he's not responding to the pit stops of Kebab and Shaka Zulu. TSR Jimmy also is on to lap number 14. So you'd like to think now TSR Jimmy is starting to see a bit of traffic in front of him, so I wonder if he's just going to react to that and peel into the pits rather than trying to deal with all this traffic in front of him. He doesn't want to get entangled with any of these runners and riders, as he's got CTM Alex just in front of him then. So CTM Alex is just circulating in front of him there, down in 18th place, as we do just see the message. And we are at the halfway distance then, so 3 drivers into the pits then. Storm Loaded, Jay Watso and Go Stops from 6th, 7th and 8th. We'll see where Kebab Fingers is. He's some 37 seconds adrift, or was 37 seconds adrift. He's coming around the final turn already, closely followed by Shaka Zulu, closely followed by Fizzy Snuggles. So these guys are already negotiating the final turn, and those 3 guys in 6th, 7th and 8th will no longer be in those positions. As we've got 2 guys in front then. Who is this having a bit of a ding-dong battle? It's Dark Blue Dan and Gufo Bufo. I believe they've just had a bit of a coming together, but they still motor on then. As who is that just behind them? That is the Bentley of Defoe. As Defoe just gets it all a bit wrong then. It's a very tricky turn, that one. It's sort of like a double apex turn, and those curbs on the outside can really throw you off if you ride them too much. As TSR Jimmy from the lead then comes into the pits on what was lap number 14. We'll see if Phillips does continue round for another lap then. He does keep going. Phillips is going for another round then. Salmacic also there in 3rd place. He's going for another lap, as is Madeira. So those guys circulating very, very closely. They've been running nose to tail for pretty much all this race, as in the wall goes Gufo Bufo in the background then. Gufo Bufo did not have the best of exits on the final turn then, as he was met with a wall, which is not what you're supposed to be doing. I'm pretty sure you should be going straight on the straight, but Gufo Bufo still continues then. He's going to have a bit of front end damage on that Bentley machine. It wasn't too much of a hard impact, but he's running down in 17th place now. As TSR Jimmy has just completed his one and only stop then. We'll see where Defoe is in the pits then. Where is Kebab Fingers? These guys are well way behind TSR Jimmy, so he's completed his mandatory stop, and look at the gap. So Kebab, Fizzy and Shaka Zulu are only just coming through the final turn of the final sector, and Jimmy is away and gone. Jimmy is already coming through the S's, so he's going to have a massive lead by the time all these guys have made their one and only stop. Phillips still continuing, 24 minutes left of this race, as he's also running wide over the bumps then on that double apex turn. He's surely got to be thinking about coming into the pits. Only 3 runners and riders left to make their mandatory stop then, with 24 minutes remaining. Phillips leading the way. Salmacic back up into 2nd place, closely followed by Madeira. Those guys have been having a truly fantastic race all. Hopefully there's no contact through 130R. Hopefully they all get through cleanly. No mistakes from these guys. Salmacic, Madeira and Phillips still circulating then, still need to complete in their one and only stop. We'll see if either of these guys peel into the pits this time round on lap number 15. Salmacic does get into the pits then. He's coming in for his one and only stop. We'll see if Madeira can put the pedal to the metal and put in a stonking lap to get himself ahead of Salmacic after the pit stops then. Where is TSR Jimmy? He's just coming up to 130R now then. Is that enough of a gap to get ahead of Salmacic? I believe it will be. We'll just ride on board with the Lamborghini man coming through the final turn now. Hasn't put a foot wrong all race. That Lamborghini has been planted, it must be said. That number 77 machine. Salmacic is still sat in the pits then, so TSR Jimmy comes through to complete lap number 15 as he moves up into what is third place, is probably the net lead of the race. Currently 23 minutes remaining. As he just gets it slowed down through those S's. So what's happening a bit further behind them? Fizzy Snuggles has made his way past. Fizzy Snuggles has made his way past Kebab and Shaka Zulu then. So Fizzy Snuggles having a fantastic recovery drive after that opening lap. Incidents aside, you've got to say Fizzy Snuggles has been on the pace then. He's back up into 5th place. He could be back up into the podium positions once Madeira and Philip come into the pits. So at least one championship protagonist in Fizzy Snuggles has made his way back up through the field then. He's hanging on to his championship hopes. As we briefly got disconnected there, ladies and gentlemen, we are back up and running. We lost around 60 seconds or so, but we are back in the race, and it seems that everybody has completed their mandatory stops then. So we'll just recap on the running order then. TSR Jimmy, look at the gap, he's got 23 seconds ahead of Phillips. So he has been motoring on whilst we've been away. Phillips has got a 2.6 second gap to Fizzy Snuggles, who's had a fantastic recovery drive back up into the podium positions. Some 2.4 seconds adrift is Kebab Fingers then running in 4th place from Madeira, and Salmacic, who was running up into 2nd place at one point before he had that little off in the Ferrari. Shaka Zulu has settled himself back down into 7th place then. Defoe is running in 8th. Adien Yokichan is now running in 9th then. Ace Tuned is holding that top 10 position from Sean, who is up into 11th. Jay Watso is currently running 12th from Storm Loaded. Mad Max Taylor has not had the best of afternoons. The man who is currently in the top 3 in the championship standings finds himself all the way down in 14th place. So this is going to have a massive hit on his championship. Squat City is running in 15th from Dark Blue Dan. Gufo Bubo and CTM Alex completes the 18 runners and riders still motoring on around the Suzuka circuit, which we are here at round number 4 for the AM Sprint Series. So we'll see what is going on with Defoe. Defoe currently sits 4th in the championship standings. He's going to be thanking his lucky stars right now, because Mad Max Taylor, who is just ahead of him in the standings, is right down in 14th place, and Defoe is looking to challenge Shaka Zulu for that 7th place. 16 minutes remaining in this race, ladies and gentlemen, so Shaka Zulu's not having the best of times after his pit stop window then. He was up into 4th place having a fantastic drive, as he's now got his mirrors full of Defoe in that Bentley machine, and that Bentley is certainly intimidating when it gets close to you. It's such a big machine to have in your rear view mirrors. But Shaka Zulu still motors on. Madeira is just ahead there in 6th place, as Salmacic is there in 5th. Salmacic is now 8 seconds adrift of Kebab Fingers, so unless something drastic changes, the top 4 is set. TSR Jimmy is leading the way, 25 seconds ahead of Phillips. So whilst he's having a very strong showing, Phillips is going to be coming under some pressure from Fizzy Snuggles in the latter stages of this race. So 15 minutes left for Fizzy Snuggles to make up even yet make up more positions. So Fizzy Snuggles on a charge to regain another position. Philip 787 is the man being hunted, having a fantastic showing in 2nd place this afternoon. Kebab Fingers, that is not where you should be putting that Ferrari machine. We are not playing dirt rally, sir. You shouldn't be on that grass. On the tarmac is where you need to be, and you've recovered yourself well. So Still motors on in 4th place, and he had a nice comfortable cushion back to Salmacic in 5th, so no worries there for Kebab Fingers at the moment. Those tyres are going to be feeling it now, though, as he does just run wide through 130R. As Salmacic has been able to close up a couple of seconds then because of Kebab's error. Is there yet more drama to unfold in the last 15 minutes of this race? Madeira is just a bit further behind Salmacic now, as Shaka Zulu is also a bit further behind, and he is occupied by Defoe. Defoe is less than a second now behind Shaka Zulu, so these guys may enter battle before the end of this race. Just behind is Ardian Yokochan. He's had a bit of a lonely race as Yokochan. He hasn't really had to do many overtaking, and he hasn't really been overtaken. He's just been settled in the mid-pack. Currently running in 9th then, so Sean has made his way up into 10th then, so there's been change from somewhere. He's now up into the top 10. He's fixed that damage. It seems like he's fixed that damage on the side of that post machine. He's got that fresh rubber on and he is motoring away. He is some 12 seconds behind Yokochan, but he does find himself in the top 10. Ace Tune just outside the bubble then, he's in 11th place, some 2.1 seconds adrift of Sean. Jay Watson is running in 12th. Storm Loaded is running in 13th. Storm Loaded was having a fantastic showing early on in this race, up into 8th place inside the top 10. He has just found himself falling back ever so slightly as this race has unfolded. Mad Max Taylor has just been off the pace this afternoon. Very unlike him and out of character to find himself near the rear of the field. Squat City and the McLaren is just ahead of Dark Blue Dam then, so those guys in a battle of their own at the rear of the field. As we see TSR Jimmy then coming up to the back of Gufo Bubo. Bit of a tongue twist to that name, Gufo Bubo. Try and say that 5 times fast. 5 times as fast as you can. But we're right on board with TSR Jimmy then. 20 laps complete for this man. 12 minutes remaining. He motors on some 26 seconds ahead, so a fantastic drive. From the word go, 21.2 was the pole position time for this man. Certainly very, very fast for the AM sprint class. He got the whole shot into turn 1 and he's led every single minute and every single lap of this race, aside from the pit stop window, shall we say. But 12 minutes remaining for this man. So Fizzy Snuggles then, we'll ride back on board with Fizzy Snuggles. We've just caught up with this as he's less than half a second behind Philip, so we'll see if Philip succumbs to the pressure of Fizzy Snuggles. These guys are now running nose to tail. A bit wide on the exit is Philip, so Fizzy Snuggles is now all over the back of that Aston Martin machine. It's always interesting when there's a pit stop requirement, because the setup and tyres and fuel and everything that you had in a perfect operating window in the opening stages of the race can just fall away from you in the second half, and it can really change the dynamics of the race. And we can see here Fizzy Snuggles is now all over the back. He's looking at the inside of Philip 787, too wide. They're going to go through 130R. As Phillips does just back out ever so slightly, so fantastic racing from these guys. Fizzy Snuggles moves right up the inside very, very nicely through 130R. Phillips just settles into that 3rd place position then, as Fizzy Snuggles is now away in 2nd place. Phillips is taking up the running in 3rd. That's your top 3. Kebab Fingers is just a bit further behind. You can just see him at the rear view of that shot there, as Fizzy Snuggles was well wide into turn 1. That's allowed Phillips to stay right on his bumper then. As Salmacic is still running in a strong 5th place from Madeira. Those guys have been pretty much running nose to tail this entire race. as Shaka Zulu was just dropped behind then. He's 11 seconds behind Madeira. As I just said earlier on then, a race of two halves. He was having a fantastic and utterly fantastic drive in the opening half of this race. He found his way up into 4th place ahead of Madeira, ahead of Salmacic. He made those moves cleanly, but during the pit stop window and now in the second half of this race he's just struggling a little bit with that setup. He's got his mirrors full of Defoe in that Bentley machine, and Defoe is looking to challenge for that 7th place position now. So RDN Yoko-chan is running in 9th. Sean is there in 10th. He's got a 6.5 second gap to Ace Tune, so he's comfortably in that top 10 then. Ace Tune just outside, who has also got 17 seconds to Jay Watt. So with less than 10 minutes remaining, we can see how this field is really truly spread out. Squat City is challenging Mad Max Taylor as Squat City just got it all out of sorts actually then. So Mad Max Taylor just taking a trip over the grass. I'm not sure what's happened between those guys, but there was nothing to separate those two. Defoe once again, he's just dropped back a little bit. You can see he's just dropped back ever so slightly from Shaka Zulu, as we just ride back on board with Phillips then in 3rd. So 1.3 is the gap between Fizzy Sneggles and Phillips, so you can see that Fizzy Sneggles has the pace. He's almost 30 seconds behind TSR Jimmy, however. 8 minutes remaining between the race victory and TSR Jimmy. So TSR Jimmy does just dispose of CTM Alex running at the rear of the field. As there's a yellow flag being waved. Who is that beached in the gravel? 188, is it? Dark Blue Dan? I think it's Dark Blue Dan who's found himself in the gravel. So he's had an off then, but he regathers. But Aston Martin, and he continues along in the 188 machine. So 7 minutes remaining, ladies and gentlemen. TSR Jimmy has led from the word go, and he's got a 27 second cushion to Fizzy Sneggles. Fizzy Sneggles had that opening lap incident with Sean, who's currently down in 10th place. Fizzy Sneggles has managed to make his way back up into 2nd place position then, so a fantastic recovery drive between himself and a podium position. Phillips is there in 3rd, occupying that final podium position. A much stronger showing from that man. Kebab Fingers also having a strong showing, although he is now some 5 seconds adrift of that podium position. He's having a strong showing there in 4th, as is Salmacic, who has, apart from that one incident through 130R, has had a very strong race. So he's got to be happy with 5th place currently. He's just circulating ahead of Madeira, who is less than half a second behind in that Lamborghini machine. Shaka Zulu's just been passed by Defoe then, so Defoe has found his way through. Defoe has found his way through. I'm not sure what's happened there, but there looks to be damage on that Mercedes-Benz machine then. Is there any damage on Defoe's car? Let's just wait to see then. We'll see if the camera angles pick it up. It doesn't look like there's any damage on Defoe, so I'm not sure what's happened with Shaka Zulu, but Shaka Zulu has got RDN Yoko-chan right on the back of him also. So Shaka Zulu, if he's not careful, could find himself dropping outside of the top 10 before the end of this race. 5 minutes to go, and he is now struggling like you wouldn't believe to keep that Mercedes on the tarmac. RDN Yoko-chan and Sean will see that there's a slow Mercedes just ahead. You'll see that there's a trio of cars doing battle, and he is slowly closing up. Could we see Sean move up into 7th place then? 5 minutes to go. All could change between these guys. 10 seconds further back is Ace Tuned. So Ace Tuned in the other Bentley machine, currently running in 11th, just outside that top 10. Storm Loaded, after running in the top 10, is some 25 seconds adrift of Ace Tuned. with Jay Watt, so a further 5 seconds back. Squat City 7 seconds adrift of that one. Gufo Bubo moves up into 15th with Dark Blue Dan, and Mad Max Taylor peeling into the pits then, so their race must be run. They haven't had the best of days, as CTM Alex has also got a 150-second time penalty. I'm not sure if he's just 100. Yeah, I'm not sure why he's so far back then. I'm not sure what's going on with that timing screen. But anyway, 4 minutes remaining, 25 laps run. TSR Jimmy on lap number 25, so just a few more laps to go for those guys. Fizzy Snuggles is running some 23 seconds back, so he has managed to close 5 seconds, but it is all a bit too late as TSR Jimmy is just motored away. Hasn't put a foot wrong today. So 3 minutes and 50 seconds left in this one, guys. This is the AM Sprint Series here at Suzuka, round number 4. It is a 6-round championship, so we've got 2 more rounds left after this one. And where do we visit? I don't even know my own calendar, I need to have a look. So we visit, where do we visit? So the final 2 rounds see us head to Kailami next Monday, and then we are due to finish the series at Barcelona on Monday the 18th of January. But that could all change, as Barcelona is a subject to change. So should we see Imola appear with the new DLC, the plan is to end the series at Imola if it appears before January the 18th and the guys have enough time to practice. So 3 good tracks to start the new year with today at Suzuka. A fantastic round 4, round number 5 at Kailami, and round number 6 to end the series at either Barcelona or Imola. So 2 minutes 30 left on the clock. Where is TSR Jimmy? It looks like he'll be on his final lap as he comes round to complete lap number 26 next time around. Fizzy Snuggles is there in 2nd place, but I'm sure there may be a steward's inquiry with that first lap incident. Philip 787 is running in a strong 3rd place, and that's going to really help his championship. Kebab Fingers is there in 4th, Salmacic is there in 5th, Madeira is there in 6th place, Defoe is running in 7th. Where is he compared to Mad Max Taylor? Mad Max Taylor is in the pits, he's in 18th place. He is not on course to score any points whatsoever in round number 4, so Mad Max Taylor is going to have a 0-point round, so that is really going to dent his podium position, the championship standings for Mad Max Taylor. Defoe is going to be catapulted right up into 3rd place in the stand. I say catapulted, he's just going to move up 1 place, isn't he? He's currently 4th in the standings. It looks to see that he may move up into 3rd. He is there, currently running in 7th place then, so Shaka Zulu has indeed dropped down to 10th then, as Sean, RDN, Yoko-chan and Defoe found their way past. But if RDN Yoko-chan is not careful, he's going to have Sean, who is less than half a second, right on his rear bumper before this race is over. There's 1 minute left on the clock.
Right, man, leader is on the final
so
lap.
1 more lap to go for these guys. TSR Jimmy is onto his final lap. The leader is onto his final lap then. Pole position man, front row man, 2 minutes 1.2 for the pole position sitter. He's some 23 seconds ahead of this field, and to be fair, he has not had it all his own way this series. He's had a fantastic battle between Fizzy Snuggles, Mad Max Taylor and Defoe all season long. But it's all come together, it's all clicked together this round, round number 4 at Suzuka, and he's just been able to sail away with this one. We'll see if Ghost has been able to get past Yoko-chan. He has indeed. He looks to have done it on that back straight then through 130R. That's where he's got the move done, and he's moved up into 8th place then for Sean. One more lap to go, sir. Will you be able to close up to Defoe? We've got 2 seconds is the gap between you and 7th place. But we ride on board with TSR Jimmy. 22 seconds is the gap. Fizzy Snuggles is there in that 2nd place position, and he's got 5.3 seconds to Phillips, who has got 5.3 seconds to Kebab Fingers. That's your top 4 this afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Salmacic is running in a strong 5th place. He's dealt with the pressure from Madeira all race long. Defoe is currently there in 7th place, and he's had a bit of a lonely race. He's hovered around that 7th place position this whole 55 minutes, as Sean is now right up on the tail. It must be less than a second. You can visibly see that gap has come down even before the timing screens have updated. It is half a second, so Sean is on a mission. If you're not careful, Defoe, Sean is going to be right on your case on this final lap around Suzuka. Who's going to claim 7th place? Is it Defoe? Is it Sean? We'll ride on board with these two. This is the battle to watch. The leader has finished the race. Well done to TSR Jimmy. We're going to focus on this battle. TSR Jimmy takes the win, a commanding win, some 22 seconds ahead come the race end. A fantastic drive indeed it is, as Defoe defends the inside line. Fantastic defensive manoeuvres. Can Sean find a way through? He's looking for a move up the inside. Who's going to get the better exit? On this back straight they go. Who's going to be ahead coming through 130R then? In the slipstream Sean goes. Fizzy Snuggles is finished. Phillips is finished. They're your top 3 as it currently stands. Looking to the inside, Sean goes. Is he going to get the inside? Defoe keeps it planted right round the outside. He does keep that position. Fantastic racing between these guys. Defoe and Sean were 7th and 8th place then, so Defoe kept it planted in that Bentley machine then. He hugs the inside line then. He looks to have secured that 7th place. He does indeed. Fantastic racing from these guys. 4th was taken by Kebab Fingers. 5th is Salmacic. 6th is Madeira. Defoe holds on to take 7th from Sean. A good recovery drive from Sean after finding himself at the rear of the field with that first lap damage. Yoko-chan brings it home in 9th place. He's going to be happy with 9th. Shaka Zulu is going to be disappointed with 10th place, then. He was running as high as 4th after having a fantastic first half of this race. H-Tune brings it home in 11th. Storm Loaded is still circulating in 12th, then. He's just ahead of Squat City. So Storm Loaded and Squat City in 12th and 13th. We just had a driver exit the race after finishing, so 11th and 12th isn't the representation from these guys. 13th is Jay Watt, so CTM is Alex and Daku Dan. They've all finished, so the final 2 runners and riders to cross the line is Storm Loaded and Squat City. So apart from that those opening lap incidents, it was a fantastic race, it must be said. A fantastic race put on by this AM Sprint Series. Congratulations once again to TSR Jimmy. He took a commanding victory today, and he has certainly extended his championship lead, so he will be a happy man as we just ride on board with all the drivers coming through then to complete